Didn't mean to interrupt one of those intellectual conversations.
And you watch the disasters unfold like the lives of these two intellectuals.
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual Central Park.
You certainly wouldn't be at an intellectual disadvantage
Digs
there.
intellectual types and super bright guys.
As the growing intellectuals of this country.
In Leningrad, I was a child, the great intellectual of...
Doesn't care how houses look, he's an intellectual.
Intellectual dilettantes. Ever persuade us
intellectualizing every single scene.
A New York Jewish intellectual communist crackpot.
You asshole!
Daddy! Didn't mean to interrupt one of those intellectual conversations.
What is it, Rianne?
Mark asked me to our club tomorrow night.
Sit by. You sit by, that's what you do. And you watch the disasters unfold like the lives of these two intellectuals.
Don't be so foul.
Oh, Mrs. Soames, shut up, Mrs. Soames. And then you have the audacity.
Political commitment in 20th century literature.
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual Central Park West, Brandeis University with the socialist summer camps and the...
You certainly wouldn't be at an intellectual disadvantage there, and I know most of the teachers, so... Anyway.
Well, that's a chick who digs intellectual types and super bright guys.
Oh, she's very...
It is time for you to understand that you, as the growing intellectuals of this country, that you must define beauty.
No. In Leningrad, I was a child, the great intellectual of 16. I met Yakov at the club.
Yakov?
House looking like this, you ain't got the prize you was born with.
Asagai doesn't care how houses look, he's an intellectual. Who? Asagai.
help our country if the cynics, the one worlders, the intellectual dilettantes ever persuade us that these things have passed us by. Because, ladies and gentlemen,
over, what should one say, intellectualizing every single scene.
He just didn't have a beginning, middle, and end.
Or another. He's a bad apple, a commie, a New York Jewish intellectual communist crackpot. I mean, I don't want to cast no aspersions.
No.
You know what turns me on?
No.
Intellectual.
Really?
And I'm not just saying this to make you feel good or anything. You're a smooth talker.
Yeah.
Angelina.
We gathered at my cabin and played a game. A game. A bunch of eggheads playing intellectual charades. Maybe it went too far.
No.
Their heads go off for intellectual pursuits, while their bodies engage in more...
Right round this building, you English intellectuals will be the death of us all. I'll think of something. Only give me time. Time.
Very fascinating to me. I read a lot myself. Some people think I'm too intellectual, but I think it's a fabulous way to spend your spare time.
And real estate.
Pradeep Resh, intellectual properties.
Cristabella Andreoli, international trade.
I looked at these show business people who know nothing about Billie Holiday, nothing. You see, are really kind of, in a way, intellectual creeps. And I suddenly had this feeling, I was just sitting there.
Its authors are as unimpeachable as its conclusions. Look at this. The intellectual capacity of the Negro in respect to the operation of complicated machinery, i.e. Of Mahler and then
understand why you're getting so mad.
I'm mad because I don't like that pseudo-intellectual garbage. But Dad, Van Gogh, did you hear that? She said Van Gogh. I couldn't like an...
A note. He left a simple little note that said, "I've gone out the window." And this is a major intellectual, and this is his note. "I've gone out the window." And what the hell does that mean? You know, this guy was a role model.
The mental approach is sometimes more effective and much quicker. But if he shouldn't turn out to be an intellectual, then we try a little physical culture.
Objection, move to strike that from the record. It is clear that one's intellectual capacity has no bearing on their ability to love.
And champagne. Take a tempting taste treat and ponder the intellectual meaning of cinema.
Well, he once said intellectuals had no taste. And from that moment on, I did everything I could.
Who embodies the three great aspects of love: intellectual, spiritual, and sensual.
Well, there's not too many of us around, but...
He deserves. But the murder's way too fucking clumsy. This guy is a major intellectual, top of his Harvard class, Rhodes Scholar, tenured at 27, 2 books published.
You're probably thinking that a person with my intellectual capacity would loathe waiting for that gentleman's answer to my question.
On the west side.
As a shot to the neighborhood.
Perfect. Keep those West Side liberal, not pseudo-intellectual
Readers,
bleeding
Dad.
hearts.
They're called readers.
Don't.
Hey, listen to me.
You want to embarrass me in front of my friends? They're trying to make an intellectual conversation. You're sitting there jerking off about the tofu and crystals or something.
Well, believe me, that just stupid. There's not.
There was this one guy in his unit, real different to him, an intellectual, a real bookworm. And over time, he became bored.
More gruesome film clips, and more puzzled intellectuals declaring their mystification over the systematic murder of millions.
Idea. I find that to be a little more than mildly annoying. Oh, well, they find it to be intellectual property theft. Look, why didn't you show this to me? It was addressed to me.
I know when I first met him how nuts he was. We met up at the office of some so-called intellectual comedian's agent. We were both fledgling comedy writers trying to break in the business.
All this, it was an elementary move, one that someone with Ellie's intellectual prowess wouldn't pass up.
Could be a mistake.
In der nächtlichen Stunde hier versammelt, uns von jeglichen intellektuellen Unrat zu befreien.
So, you have letters of recommendation from renowned scholars of science praising your intellectual qualities, heralding you as mankind's greatest hope.
Just let go of everything I was holding on to so tightly, and it hit me that I don't have an intellectual reason. I don't need one. I trust myself. I trust my feelings.
In the first place, he has positioned himself brilliantly. He's one of our foremost intellectuals. He's a personal friend. Of the Prime Minister, yes.
Scrub him or put him away. Just because you and your intellectual friend are gonna play chess doesn't mean you have to leave a mess.
Much I meant to you. You'd mean much more to me with your clothes on.
No, you like the intellectual type.
I like the...
Say, I've got an idea. Give me the manager, please. Plus for the valley, will you?
Major, listen to them. The leaders of our intellectual future, screaming for the destruction of our nation.
Yes, they struck me as being pretty solid. I must say, it's very heartening having you intellectuals coming into the working class movement like this. One has
myself on the planet Ogo, part of an intellectual elite, preparing to subjugate the barbarian hordes.
To the forum. He needs rest from his intellectual labors.
But he is progressing.